what advice can you give to an immigrant chasing their dreams?
I would say stay hungry.
Stay hungry.
Stay hungry. It's very easy to get complacent.
Businesswoman myself, what is the reality check for those people that are currently romanticizing their business ideas?
A native that follows me on Instagram, I counsel, please get a 9 to 5. It helps you not to be desperate to see your startup make it overnight.
Some people believe in the idea of, oh, because I have a business now, I can quit my 9 to 5. No, actually, you need that 9 to 5 to fund your business.
Flexaago can actually take care of my bills, but a 9 to 5 still paying the bills.
Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 1 of Unfolding with Ewaji, where every story is still unfolding. Today's guest is someone I have had the privilege of knowing long before business titles, book launches, or brand logos. We were college classmates, and I have watched his evolution from being an ambitious student to being a multi-hyphenate powerhouse. He is the founder of Flexaago wristwatch brand, making waves in the lifestyle and luxury space, redefining what it means to wear time with purpose. He is also a seasoned IT expert with years of experience building digital solutions and leading in the tech space. And as if that wasn't enough, he is the author of the book Immigrant, a compelling reflection on resilience, identity, and the pursuit of success in new land. A young, brilliant Nigerian visionary, a man committed to legacy, impact, and growth. Please help me welcome my friend who flew all the way from California to sit with me today, one of my mentors, and today's guest, Toheeb Abolaji Alabi.
Thank you for having me today, Ewaji.
You're very welcome, Toheeb, and thank you for sitting with me today. So, Toheeb, we did go to the same college back in Nigeria, and I know you studied political science.
That's right.
And you were the best graduated student of our cohort. Just talk to me about what changed.
Wow. Well, that's a very good question, Ewaji. It's my first podcast, just to say this at the very outset.
Thank you.
Nothing has really
Honored.
changed. Nothing has really changed, Ewaji. I had to understand early that a degree, just a foundation, it's not a prison sentence.
That's right.
And my degree in political science actually taught me how power works and how systems are built. Okay. And I was fortunate to have found mentors, who made me understand that, pursuing an education should actually have a return on investment. Basically, you shouldn't just go to school just to study what you feel like. You shouldn't go to school just based on passion. I think you have to ask yourself the question as to what will be the return on investment after this degree.
Right.
And I see a lot of people pursue degrees without having clarity on where it leads.
Clarity.
So that I feel that's very important, and I think everyone should be honest, particularly when they're going to study something for economic reasons. It's important to actually ask that question, what will be the return on investment? However, it's a little different if you're just doing it for self-actualization, and that will be a separate conversation entirely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Toyev. And yeah, I completely agree with you. Clarity when you're doing something in life, especially when it comes to education, and something that you tend to use in the longer term, like in future, you definitely need clarity and that spirit of discernment to be able to say, okay, this is what I want to do and this is how it's going to benefit me in the future. I love that. And yeah,
just to add, just beyond that, I just want to go further on that, because what I see today, a lot of people struggle not because they are not smart,
right,
but I see a great degree of lack of mentorship, right? So most people, for example, go to school, like they're choosing history, they're going to school to study history, but they do not have mentors around them who could actually counsel caution as to what do you plan to do at the completion of your degree in
Degree.
history, and how much are you going to make with it? Can it actually sustain you and your family as you grow in life? I think it's an important question that I think everyone should always, strive towards getting mentors wherever they are and whatever phase they are in life.
And isn't that why we see a lot of Nigerians, specifically like emphasis on Nigerians? Nigerians will go to school as to become a doctor, mass communication, all those kind of courses that in the long run, when you get out of school, you can't even work with them. You can't even you can go to the news station and say, I want to get a job, and then you get one. A lot of bankers, accountants are out here doing IT in nursing school now. And that makes me want to ask you, Toheeb, there's a perception about Nigerian degrees. Do you really think that Nigerian degrees are not relevant abroad?
That's another good question, Ewaji. I want to be careful the way I approach that. Now, and I would want to approach it in two folds. The first one is Nigerian degrees are very relevant. Firstly, when you look at it from the angle of... Now, I'll use this question to ask another question. Relevant in terms of being able to readily put it to use in a foreign country,
right,
meaning getting a job out of the back, or leveraging on it to pursuing higher degrees, for example your master's degree or PhD. I'll answer my own question, right? Some degrees you can readily put them to use. Like, for example, if you study accounting, there's a sense in which you could still leverage on some of the skill sets or experience you've gathered over the years, and becoming a tech professional, as long as you're able to demonstrate experience and, the shapeable skill set accordingly. Beyond that, the second part is, can you leverage on those skill sets or the degree you actually acquired in Nigeria to actually furthering your education? And I'll say that is yes, that's correct. So how do you think Nigerians, for example, that's where we're from, so I'm adding a context to that now, right?
Right.
How do you think Nigerians are able to actually leave Nigeria and go to the UK or to the US for their master's degree?
Right.
It only means one thing: the Nigerian degree is relevant.
Absolutely.
If it were to be not relevant, it means you have to start from the scratch. But you're not starting from the scratch.
Exactly.
You're actually leveraging on the skills
right,
you've gained and the degree to furthering your education. Now, so what I see here is Nigeria, the Nigerian degree trains you to be resilient.
I agree with that.
It trains adaptability,
Right.
and beyond that, it also pushes you to learn under pressure, which is not a bad thing, actually. So the only difference, the only challenge right there is, exposure, right? Exposure. And exposure is not the same thing as not being intelligent, right? They're quite different. You could, you might not be exposed, but it doesn't mean you're not intelligent, right? So abroad, foreign education and foreign careers actually recognizes experience, and they recognize the experience and consistency as to beyond the certificate itself. So it's not just about certificates when it comes to careers or organization looking for talents in the US. It's more about the experience you have,
yeah,
and then how you can prove the skill set that is relevant to the role.
And leverage on the skills. Yeah, I completely agree with you, because I've had the experience in the past where I would apply for jobs, and then the degree would matter, but the experience would matter more. They would say, oh, we want this relevant amount of years or number of years of experience, as opposed to someone who has a master's degree. They would choose you who have, like, say 5 years, for example, of experience over someone who just has that certificate. Not to say that the certificate is not relevant, but just to say that, like the popular saying, experience is the best teacher, isn't it?
Yeah, just to add to that, Ewaji, you're actually right, you're spot on. You see, as long as you're able to demonstrate experience, I mean, not just experience, relevant experience to the job.
That's the key word.
Relevant experience. And also you're able to, show or demonstrate that, you can profile a
Solutions.
solution,
Right.
proper solution to the challenges they're facing.
Correct.
I do not think after the first conversation, nobody asks you, where did you study?
Where did you go to school? Like, I don't remember the last time I was asked, like, what school did you go to?
No.
What degree do you have? I've in interviews I've experienced questions regarding or relating to what experience do you have? What amount of experience do you have?
Yeah.
Do you have experience in XYZ? More as opposed to someone asking me, "Oh, what school did you graduate from? What did you have a merit? Did you like me, for example, I of course I went to school in Nigeria for my degree, my bachelor's, and I have a master's in the UK in HR. I have never had anyone ask me, did
Where
you
did
have a
study?
merit
Where did you study?
or what did you study?
To
I really have never had anyone to ask me that, like, honestly. And that's something I would love to brag on, like, oh, I had a merit, I schooled in the UK. But instead, everyone is asking me, can I see your resume? How many years of experience do you have on the resume?
You know what? Let me just touch on what you just said. Let me just touch on what you just
Right,
said. You know, it's actually interesting to note that Ewaji, you probably know, right? You know, but for some of our audience, you know, your Nigerian degree is relevant.
Absolutely.
Your Nigerian degree is useful. It's been a misconception in the community that your Nigerian degree doesn't, you know, help you achieve anything in life.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm saying if you have a quality education, and I feel when I say quality education, it's not really about our institutions in Nigeria. It's about yourself. Right? You know, I schooled in Nigeria, I attended Lagos State University, studied political science. I'm in tech today. There are shippable skill set from what I studied. And today I do not have a master's degree. And I've not studied in a formal classroom in the US.
Wow.
And I've built a remarkable career
And you
in the US.
have.
I
We
have
would get
built
there.
a remarkable career in the US. So this is just to tell, you know, people to clear the misconception
Absolutely.
as to your Nigerian degree being relevant. I think I'm very happy to be on this podcast to kind of address that.
Yeah,
It's an important conversation that we need to let our, you know, younger ones, you know, understand.
Absolutely, and I think you're like, I would say you're one of the right people that I would love to have conversations like that with, considering the kind of knowledge that I know that you have and you instill in people, you know. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Toheeb.
You're welcome.
So let's get into the wristwatch brand, Toheeb. CEO of Flexaago. How does that feel?
This one is dear to my heart.
I know.
This one is dear to my heart.
I know, and even me, I have it. I carry it on my head like chin chin.
This one is dear to my heart.
Yeah. So let's get into Flexaago, Toheeb. What happened? How did Flexaago come about? What happened? What was that? When was the time that you thought, I'm making this call, I am starting Flexaago, and how much did it cost you to start Flexaago?
Wow. Again, this is my first podcast.
And we are
Ewaji.
honored to have you.
And I don't think I've really shared the Flexaago story on a podcast before. And I'm so glad to be sharing that today. Of course, it's on our website. Our story is on the website. But of course, you know, it's important to also, you know, as the community continue to grow, as our fan base continue to grow, it's important to tell the Flexaago story. Flexaago, like I said, is very dear to my heart. It's like my mini project. It's not a mini project, it's actually a project.
It's
actually
big project
at this point.
Flexaago
It was a
big.
mini project.
Yes.
It was a mini project, but it's a major project at this point. It didn't just start overnight, actually. So Flexaago, the dream, it was actually a dream. When I was in elementary school, I think I was about 6 years old then. I was playing, you know, in elementary school. You know, I broke a friend's watch. His name was Obina. This is a real story now.
Did you get
Ewaji.
your ass whooping?
This is a real story now.
Really?
Ewaji. Yeah, it's not something we just cooked together to come up with a story for the brand. No,
Oh,
it's a true
okay.
story. So I broke his watch. It was a watch that was bought for him by his parents, you know, for Christmas. You know, I broke it and I felt very bad. Because he felt very bad. He cried and his parents had to come to school the next day, you know,
poor boy.
asking who was the boy that broke our son's watch, what kind of play were they, what kind of play, you know, actually ensued to warrant
Breaking the
broken
watch.
watch.
Yeah, and
you know.
having a wristwatch at that age,
It was a flex. It
you
was
know,
a flex,
it was a
you know.
flex.
It was a flex. So I felt very bad. I felt very bad.
Obviously.
And I wish I could fix it. I wish I could fix it. So since then, I've been fascinated by wristwatches. I've been fascinated that I wish I could actually make one for him. So since then, I took interest. The penchant grew to someday own a wristwatch brand. Of course, based on my background, I couldn't possibly do that, as a grey holder in
Right.
Nigeria. But I had opportunity coming to the US, and then guess what? COVID happened, right? I saw a lot of friends, quite a number of them, losing their jobs, and I was very worried. I have a family, I've got 2 kids to take care of, right? It could be me, right? So I had to start thinking outside of the box. I thought I needed to do something outside of my career in tech, right? I needed to create something.
creative.
And then e-commerce was the main thing at that point. I'm talking 2020.
A lot of opportunities came up
E-commerce was a
during
major.
COVID.
E-commerce grew very big during COVID, right? So I was like, wait. I thought about different things, and I thought about there were so many things that went into building a brand that I considered, right? As a founder, I wanted a brand that's is not gender specific. I want something that can be rocked by women and men. Okay, I want something that
Generic.
is not exactly generic. I want something that is not seasonal. I want something that even if I have large inventory, if I have stocks, if I don't sell this year, I could still sell next year. I wanted something that I could represent and promote myself by way of wearing it or rocking it. And then it came to me like, come, you've always wanted to have a wristwatch brand.
Right.
And I was like, can I even afford it? Can I even pull this, Then I started, making my findings. And, of course, I couldn't afford it at that point. But I took baby steps. And which
Very
is what I will
important.
also encourage other
Very
founders.
important. Baby steps. I always say baby steps. You get there, just baby steps.
So I took baby steps. So we started, where we were then is quite different from where we are today. So we started with wood watches because those are quite cheaper to make from a manufacturing standpoint. So it was. You asked about the cost. I'm not going to go into that. That's business secret.
Okay.
But it wasn't a lot.
He's not giving us no tea on how much it costs. Okay.
But it wasn't a lot. But I didn't have to get investors. I didn't have to borrow money from anyone.
So you single-handedly started Flexaago.
I bootstrapped Flexaago.
Wow.
I don't do that anymore. I used to bootstrap Flexaago, but I'm glad the brand has gotten to a stage where it can actually fund itself.
Amazing.
And we're thankful for the support. You're a big
I
customer.
know,
so
guys.
thankful.
I have Flexaago watch on me right now. Deborah, it's a beautiful piece. Go get yours.
So that was the genesis of Flexaago. So
I know.
If you don't know, now you know.
Now you know. Now you know. Now you know. Clock it. So, Toheeb, every brand has a message. What story or identity would you want people who wear your watch to carry with them, to feel when they wear your watch?
That's a good question, Ewaji. I think we actually thought about this when Flexaago was founded. That is, how do we want people to feel? We actually want them to feel luxury. But beyond that, we want them to feel more than that, right? Yeah, we've worked on the packaging, worked on the quality of our watches. But beyond that, we want them to feel something more, which is, we want them to be proud of their journey. And actually, that's the reason we have the mantra we use today. It's your time, flex it. And what do we mean when we say it's your time, flex it? We don't just take that literally. We mean, for example, you've always wanted to have a car. Now you have it. It's your time. Flex it. Because everything we believe as a time brand takes time, right? I believe everything in life takes time. You want a degree, you have to go to school for 4 to 5 years. When you finally have it, it's your time. Flex it. You have to be proud of your accomplishment. So basically, when anyone rocks our watches, or any of our watches, we want them to feel accomplished. We want them to be proud of their journey, and we want them to flex it. It's the reason we say it's your time. Flex it.
Amazing. I like that idea. I like the idea behind that. So is that something that you already knew from the get-go, or is it something that went on with you as you evolved in the brand?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. I get asked this a lot. So, since the day we founded Flexaago, we
Mm.
haven't changed anything. We
Really?
haven't. So, I'm a very deep thinker, right? I'm more like a perfectionist. I thought about a lot of things. Since we founded Flexaago, it's been almost 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
We have not changed the name. We have not changed our mantra. We haven't changed our icon. So everything was carefully thought of. And now when I think about myself, not to brag, I think I'm an artist, because everything was carefully thought of. And, you know, and because we had to build something that, because now when I mentor founders, I kind of tell them, of course, ideas don't come fully formed. They
Mm.
evolve as you grow along the journey. But the very main thing, the foundation of the business, has to be something that is scalable. You want to be able to have an idea, at least at the very core, the foundation level, what makes up your brand should be scalable. You should ask yourself, as we evolve, as we become a multi-million-dollar brand, you know, this identity we've created for ourselves is scalable, can evolve. Do we have to change it? Do we have to tweak it along the journey? And I think we haven't had to do anything related to that. So, which is actually very very profound.
Hmm. And that's amazing. The fact that you haven't had to change the name or tweak any of the designs, you just keep producing, and it's been like very profitable that you've been selling all of them. The other time I saw you post about one of the new designs that it was sold out, and it sold out in what, 2 weeks or
In two
so?
weeks,
Oh
that's
wow,
ASICO. In two
that's
weeks,
in 2 weeks, and that's the wristwatch that costs how much?
it's a $500 watch,
And
and it's actually so I couldn't take the credits
hmm.
for that alone. I couldn't possibly take the credits. That would be unfair. So basically our price point, our watches averagely sell for $200. Then I thought, how do we move from a $200 watch to a $500 watch,
Hmm.
right? And I knew that would not be the same targets markets. It's going to be a different market segments, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people buying a $200 watch may not necessarily be the ones to buy a $500 watch,
Right.
So I had to come up with a strategy to actually, bring the big guys in a society to actually represent and to actually give additional validation to what we're building at Flexaago.
Mm-hmm.
The likes of Don Jazzy, Shea Vodi, the
We're gonna get
His
there. I
Royal
have a question
Majesty,
for you
you
on
know.
that. Actually,
Okay.
we're gonna get there. We're gonna get to that point because I did see some movement the last time, this last festive period that you were in Nigeria.
Right.
We'll get there. I have a question for you on that.
Okay.
So, talk to me about how it feels or how you've been coping. I don't know, for lack of a better phrase to use. What does it feel like in an industry where you are producing something that is a global brand, like that we have the likes of Rolex, Michael Kors, all these popular brands that have wristwatches that they've been in existence for years. How did you feel knowing that you're going into that same market with those brands, and you didn't feel like, oh, would I sell? Who's gonna buy from me? And talk to me about that.
Okay. Thanks for that question, Ewaji. So this is more personal. This is more about my personality, right?
Mhm.
Um, I do not go into things thinking I wasn't going to win. I don't go into things thinking it would fail.
That's a good philosophy of life.
The possibility of failure, is not out of place. Okay, the
Mhm.
possibility businesses fail, right? But
Mhm.
I don't go into things thinking it will
So,
fail. I put my all in. I'm always dedicated. I'm always determined that whatever I want in life, I'm going to achieve it. And again, when I do things, a lot of people say you have to study your competition. I'm sorry, I do not necessarily belong to that school of thought. I'm sorry.
really?
And I don't know how this will come out.
Mhm.
Actually, it's the way I've lived my life, for decades now.
Mhm.
Even while I was in college, like you mentioned, how I was the best graduating student in my department.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at the other guys. I wasn't looking at the other guys,
Hmm.
who also had very good results, who were my colleagues in class, who were my classmates.
Mhm.
I wasn't thinking about what they were doing. I wasn't looking at the results. I was just doing my thing. You know, I was just focusing on myself.
Just do
You know,
you.
just do me. So it's more natural, it's more organic. So I didn't have the time thinking about what they're doing, you know, so that whatever my output is, it comes so real and it feels so unique to me. So within the context of the jewelry space, the bigger brands, you know, but with Flexaago, and when you think about everything that makes up Flexaago, right, I feel we're very artistic and we're very, you know, for everything that makes up Flexaago, you really know that it was carefully thought of. From our logo, which is a moon, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't just something that's artistic. Come on,
Hmm.
that's artistic because the moon is a symbol of time. It is universal,
It is.
right? I didn't have to look at Rolex to decide on what logo to give to my brand, right?
Hmm.
So we carefully thought about it as a watch brand.
And it
Our
stands
naming
out.
convention, it stands out, and our naming convention. I don't know what Rolex mean. I'm not going to talk about any brand right on this podcast,
Yeah.
and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to compare myself to them. But what I'm saying is, Flexaago is a brand that was carefully thought
Sort
of,
of.
and the name itself, you know, time resonates even with from the naming convention. And when you
Hmm.
look at the names of our watch models, they also mean time in different languages, right?
Hmm.
From Dembora to Manawa to Ora to Asiko, everything means time. So when
Time.
you put all these things together, right, that's ingenious and
It
that's unique to
is.
the Flexaago brand. And I think I'm very proud of what we've actually built and the brand we've
And I
actually
am also very
um,
proud. I am
striving
proud.
to to get a fair market share in the scheme of things.
Awesome, awesome. That's a great way to look at things if you want to progress in life and not keep thinking about competitors. You would just I feel like thinking about or looking at competitors to improve yourself or to get to a certain age or stage in life would only limit you. And I really agree with that school of thought.
So
You just do you.
just
Do you.
execute.
Just
Go to
execute.
work, execute. Go to
Period.
work, execute. You get
Right.
feedback from
Mm.
customers. You get feedback. We've gotten feedbacks. You know, we've improved. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's this one I need to put out there. One very good
Tell us.
feedback. It was just under the comment section.
Right.
Someone saw one of our hats, you know, because we used the moon as a logo,
Mm-hmm.
and then two guys actually,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a comment that, oh, because I was actually talking about why we decided to use the moon because it's a symbol of time, right?
Right.
They said that's a very nice concept, but then can we even patent that? Can we even trademark that? We couldn't possibly
Ooh.
trademark the moon because, you know, the moon is you know, it can be a Flexaago thing,
You
right?
the moon belongs to
So
everyone.
so they referenced Apple, right? They referenced Apple and they said, oh, a little tweak there could actually do the magic for them. Then I had to take a
That's
closer look at
true.
that and like, okay, that's a very good point. So we'll listen to what people say and we're a brand that wants to build and want to improve. So we're not a brand that doesn't listen, we'll listen, you know, and because we know we're out there and we're still in business just because of, you know,
The
our customers,
feedbacks.
the feedback. So we had to tweak the moon. It's the reason why you have the underscore under the moon as we have it
Oh.
today. Yeah, that's actually from customers' feedback, and that's very very important to call out there.
And that's very great that you do take feedbacks because some people just feel like, oh, this is my brand, I want to do what I want to do with it. And brands like that, I don't see them going too far, to be honest, if you won't take feedbacks or adopt feedbacks from customers, which is very important because they are the ones using this stuff, they are the end users, so you have to prioritize their feedbacks or what they feel or how they feel when they use your products. And that's really awesome. I like that.
So you have to make the customers your hero. The customers
Customers
have to
your
be the
hero.
hero. They have to be the hero,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
along the
And why
journey.
do
They
you
have to be
say
the
that?
hero. They have to be the hero. You have to make the customers the centerpiece of what you're building, right?
Hmm.
There's nothing like a brand without customers.
Without customers, because who are you
So they
making the
actually are the
products for?
center. They actually are the center
Mm-hmm.
of whatever it is you're building. So you put them first. You know, you listen, and then, but of course, you get different feedbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But the key thing is, as long as the feedback aligns with your vision, if it's not a deviation from your vision, then why not? Give
Why
it a
not?
try, discuss with
Why
your
not?
team, and see how you can implement it,
Right.
or what does it look like, or what does it feel like for the future of the brand itself. So as long
Mm-hmm.
as it aligns with the vision of the brand, why not? Make them the hero. And then it also makes them feel important. It makes them feel like, oh, I talked about this and I can see they actually implemented this.
And it
I
gives
got
them
the feedback.
sense.
Someone reached out to me, reached out to us on Instagram. One of my handlers actually informed me that someone talked about, the discrepancy between the mobile version of our website and the web version. And we had to correct that. I'm like, oh, wow, thankful to these customers, they're actually paying attention.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. And it actually does give clients or customers a sense of belonging when you implement something that is suggested, and then they see it like, oh, they did that, I suggested that. It makes them feel like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, I'm smart too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about life and to run your business. So talk to me about your career. I know you're into IT. What are the transferable skills that you took from being a tech guy into being in business?
There are a lot of transferable skill sets from my career in tech and to actually adapting that to Flexaago and other businesses I've founded. For Flexaago, for example, process is very important. Process is very important, so that you want consistency. You want consistency, so you wouldn't want multiple flavors. We ship globally, for example, so we want the experience to be the same.
Right.
So the process has to be uniform and it has to be documented in terms of how we do things and how we package our products. Beyond that, integration and automation, right? So, for example, notifying customers when their orders are delivered, when they place an order. That's automation. Something that has to be, based on my understanding about notification in the IT space. You need notification. People need to be notified. When do they need to be notified? And things like that. Then integration, right? Imagine integrating your website with Instagram, so that you can actually see prices and people can actually place orders directly from Instagram and you get reflected on Instagram. Of course, the platform powers that, all those, but, there's a sense of understanding that comes from your experience that,
right,
okay, this is actually doable and this is what we should do, right? A lot of businesses out there, they run Instagram business, but they've not really considered making that integration. So we have such integration. Beyond that, another aspect of integration where that's actually, born out of my, experience as a tech person is, I had to integrate the platform with Flutter with myself. I do some configuration on the website myself, right? That was actually a challenging one. We had customers who were not able to, make orders directly in Nigeria, for example, right? It was actually a major pain point. Trying paste tag, it wouldn't work. I had to realize it was because of the team I was using on the platform, and then, eventually I had to use Flutterwave. Now,
right,
customers are able to make purchases from Nigeria directly from the website. It was a major pain point that I was very glad we were able to surmount. Well, I couldn't have achieved that by myself. I could have spent a lot of money trying to get people to actually help me on those, but I did all those by myself.
You did that by yourself,
Right.
that's a lot of work that you did by yourself, because trust me, people pay a lot of money for this stuff.
Yeah.
So I can tell you for free that you're saving a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
You're saving a whole lot of money knowing all this stuff and being able to implement them and do them yourself. You don't have to literally hire someone
For
to
everything.
to do those things. Doesn't mean that you wouldn't need professionals in the long run, or say maybe someone who has more expertise in those lines. But the fact that you're able to do those things yourself at this very beginning of your business, especially, which is doing very great now,
Thankful to God.
yeah, thankful to God. Yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing. So, Toheeb, you wrote Immigrant Quest. You are an author.
Yes, I'm an
You
author.
wear many hats, basically. What was the hardest chapter for you to write when you wrote Immigrant Quest?
The prologue.
Talk to me about that.
The prologue was the toughest. So, when I started writing the Immigrant Quest, it was meant to be an autobiography in a way. It was meant to be a book about myself, about my journey.
Hmm.
But I eventually changed my mind down the line. But of course, the prologue was the toughest one because if you read the prologue, you actually, you know, the prologue is actually real. The prologue is real life. It talks about my mom because she passed 24 years ago. So
So sorry.
there were things related to her, and those were very very personal. And
Hmm.
so I think that was the toughest one. And then also it was the toughest because I had to build from that to expand the story, and then I had to realize this story had to evolve beyond me, actually having daily be his own full-fledged character outside of Abolaji Alabi.
Hmm.
And as you read the book, you realize this is not a book about Abolaji. This is a fiction,
Hmm.
a fictional story about the journey of an immigrant
Hmm.
in a foreign land, and the challenges daily encountered, and also with immigration, and you know it's actually a good time to be alive now. We're facing the same challenges,
I know.
but then when you ask yourself the question, there are millions of immigrants all over the world, and the immigrant story is very important to tell. We should tell the immigrant story. Why do people leave their home country to go to a new country, right? And the answer isn't far-fetched. It's just a quest for survival. And so when we say the immigrant quest is a quest for survival.
Hmm.
It's one thing everybody strives for. People in poverty out in Africa, for example, it's almost impossible to want to stop them from trying to immigrate to a country where they feel a reasonable significance of what they need will be fulfilled, right?
Hmm.
It's something common to us as humans. You see folks coming from India, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from Nigeria to the UK or to the US. They have a common story,
Mm-hmm.
a story, a struggle, you know, to gain, reasonable significance of what they need for survival. And I think it's important to tell the story. And that was what we displayed with the Immigrant Quest, which was released in 2021.
Yes, so I mean, I agree with you, and I really believe a majority of immigrants, especially from Africa, came here looking for the same thing.
The same thing. The
You
same
know.
thing to better to better their lives,
Mm-hmm.
to get decent job, to get
Right.
security.
Right.
I see people ask questions. Should people in Nigeria doing well for themselves? I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry I bring Nigeria to the fore a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
but I just love to add context to things, and that's where we're from.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, we're from Nigeria, so it's not out of place to bring Nigeria
Yeah, I
to the
mean.
conversation from time to time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see on social media people who are doing well for themselves, why are they leaving Nigeria? But then the question is, why shouldn't they?
Why shouldn't they?
Should they? I'm not saying they should.
Mm-hmm.
Why shouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it goes beyond financial needs, right? It
Mm-hmm.
cut across every facet of life, of security,
Security, safety.
a lot of uncertainties
Yeah.
out there in Nigeria, a lot of uncertainties here with the immigration situation right in the US at this point. But then, when you also consider your kids, right, and then you're like, it's a lot of uncertainties because now the fact that you're doing well as a parent doesn't guarantee the future of your kids, right?
Mm.
Particularly, for example, people who benefit from politics, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not there tomorrow, what happens to your kids,
Hmm.
right? It's a lot of patron politics out there playing out, but then if the ruling class that favors you, that gives you those contracts are no longer there tomorrow. So what guarantees
What's the
the
guarantee?
sustainability of your kids? So I think a lot of people love to go to countries where there's a level playing ground, where you do not need to lobby, where you
Yeah.
do not need to know
Mm-hmm.
anyone, where the labor market is free to
Right.
an extent and fair,
Mm-hmm.
whereby a black guy can actually apply for the job and get the job as long as he has the relevant
Qualifies
experience.
and has
But
experience.
you and I know that is not the same.
No,
And I
it's
had
not.
to understand that, for example, before I left the country, I used to think people who do not get jobs in Nigeria are lazy. I used to think they were lazy. I used to think they were not applying enough. I had to graduate to understand that this is actually a crisis in Nigeria with regards to the labor market. Of course, the labor market all over the world is not automatic, right? It's not automatic. I have a lot of people graduating every year, but then, the differences of degree and the difference between the US and Nigeria is that, whoever merits it, whoever deserves it, is able to get employed, right?
Right.
As a best graduating student in my department, I put my all in whatever I do. I was unable to get a job. Then I realized this is a major challenge in the country.
And it's a pandemic, to be honest, because
it is a pandemic.
Majority of people who graduate back home now don't have good jobs.
And I tell you, Ewaji, it's actually disheartening because unlike in the US, the system is set up in such a way that even with high school degree, you are able to be gainfully employed, and what you make, what you earn, it will be enough for you to sustain yourself. For example, afford you to buy a car, even though you have a car note, you can actually rent a place. Now, picture people with high school education in Nigeria. What can they possibly do with that, right? So, not to talk of graduates who can't even do anything. We still have graduates making 100,000 naira, which is less than $70, right? So how are they expected to buy a car? How are they expected to feed family? So it's quite worrisome. The situation is quite worrisome, and the situation has gone beyond lamentation.
It does.
That when people decide to look elsewhere, to go outside of Nigeria, to live, and to just to be able to survive, I think no one should question that. Japa or stay back.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Isn't that where the Japa phrase came from? Like, Japa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you also get more leverage, when you leave the country. Like, for example, you and I, now we have leverage. So imagine Flexaago couldn't have been born if I were to be living in Nigeria.
I don't think
about
so.
it. So sometimes when we leave the country, working in the foreign countries like in the West, for example, gives you the opportunity. Opens up your mind to opportunities. You're able to save, for example, and you're able to invest.
Right.
You get exposure into the stocks market.
Right.
You get exposure into different other things where you can actually, go back to your home country and invest. You have capital, basically. Capital you couldn't have possibly gotten if you were to be in your home country. So I think it's actually to an advantage more than the merits what it does when you actually leave your home country. I feel because I feel you tend to be complacent in your own country also because you could live with family members. They could support you. They could harbor you. But in a foreign land, you have no choice. You have to live the way they live. You have to hustle. There's no mommy, there's no sister to help you.
Everybody has
you just have to go to work, get the work done, pay the bills, and then look out for yourself.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I need you to please talk to me about entrepreneurship. So, if someone was romanticizing business right now, say, for example, I want to go into business, what is the reality check you have for them? Like, what is it that we are not posting on social media as business person, as business people? Like, I am a businesswoman myself. I do business. I have 2 businesses that I run. What is the reality check for those people that are currently romanticizing their business ideas?
Entrepreneurship is not a get rich quick, adventure, if I'm to use that word.
Absolutely.
It's not a get rich quick adventure. If you're going into business, if you're trying to become an entrepreneur, thinking you'd make it in 6 months, right. I want you to have a rethink. You're probably better off, getting a 9 to 5. The journey, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy, but you must be patient. You must be patient, and that's what I see in a lot of people. People are not patient enough to actually see it work out. You don't start a business and in 6 months, because it doesn't work, you're giving up. Right? And that brings me to the point where I was actually talking to someone, right? A mentee, that follows me on Instagram. He just finished NYC and is trying to start up his own business. And I had to advise him. Business is good. I'm a business person myself too, but I kind of advised him, I counseled, cautioned that, you're still very young. please get a 9 to 5. And the reason is not far-fetched. Get a 9 to 5 to at least sustain you, right? Sustain you so that, and then you're able to save. And from what you save, you can invest into your startup. It helps. So it helps you not to be desperate to see your startup make it overnight. It helps you to persevere.
Right.
It helps you weather the storm. It helps you bootstrap. Right. So imagine not having a 9 to 5, for example, and you just dabble into business. You get frustrated. If it doesn't work within 6 months, you're giving up. But it is not to say the business is not viable.
Right.
But you do not have enough, born rate to actually make that happen.
Exactly.
So with 9 to 5, it gives you the leverage. You're not desperate, and you're not just signing some contract for investors.
Right.
If you've not carefully thought of it, you're not signing from a place of desperation. So 9 to 5 actually helps you. So if you're young, depending on where you're in life, I will encourage you, get a 9 to 5. You get experience from 9 to 5.
You do.
You get cash flow from the 9 to 5 that you could plow back into your business. And it also gives you the wiggle room to actually watch the business grow.
Right.
So I'm speaking to you, I still have a 9 to 5.
Of course, we all do.
So I still have 9 to 5, and it is not to say that at this point in the life of Flexaago can actually take care of my bills, but the 9 to 5 still paying the bills.
Right.
With
and there is no harm in
there's
keeping
no harm
both.
in keeping both. And then when the time comes, you feel like, okay, you know what? I think my business makes more than 5 times what my 9 to 5 makes. Then you can take a step back and face your business fully.
Yep.
So that would be my advice. So if you're getting into business, please just be patient. The grit is very important. The patience, consistency matters. And with consistency, trust is built over time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And just to buttress on what you said, I completely agree with having a 9 to 5 and then running your business. Some people believe in the idea of, because I have a business now, I can quit my 9 to 5. No, actually, you need that 9 to 5 to fund your business.
Exactly.
You do need that 9 to 5 to fund your business. So there is no harm in working 9 to 5, getting paid from there, and investing it into your business. I don't see why anyone cannot do that. And it's a very big risk saying you want to completely, especially when you're just starting. It's a very big risk you're taking, saying you just want to go into business without having something to fall back on. Because every business, or let me not say every now, like most business have their own seasons. Some, and even if your business don't have a season, some people cannot just continue to purchase or buy something from you consistently. People would explore. The same person that ordered something from you last week will not come back this week and then order another one. Then you have to wait for another client or customer to come. So whilst all that is going on in the background, why not have something consistently paying you, like giving you the checks? So I agree with you completely on that, honestly. And I hope someone takes Toheeb's advice on that and put it into action. So Toheeb, let's talk money moment, Toheeb. Let's talk money moment. You're a businessman, you're a founder, you're an author, you're a tech guy. What does success mean to you?
Oh, that's a good question. Wow. How do I answer this? Success. Success, success is actually relative. Success is relative. And it's not just relative. It's also relative to the point that it varies from an individual to individual, right? What success means to you may be different from what it means to me.
Absolutely.
And also, even to an individual, success means different things at different phases of their lives. So, for example, what success meant to me 10 years ago, when I started my career, over 10 years ago when I started my career in the US, is not the same as what success means to me today.
No.
Success to me then probably meant, the fancy title, the salary, right? You know, and success means to some people, becoming the VP on Wall Street or becoming a senior director in Silicon Valley, right? The fancy title, the salary, the numbers, and all
Right, the
that, right?
numbers.
But over time, presently for me, success means freedom. Success for me means freedom,
Freedom.
right? To add additional context to that, right? Your big title, your salary does not really mean anything in the face of a company downsizing.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that.
So, and that has become increasingly apparent
Yes.
with COVID, right?
Yes.
We saw a lot of people
Losing their jobs.
and things like that, right? I mean, some of them were VP, some of them were directors, and these were the things, this were the role, this were the title we all craved we all aspire to have at the early stage of our careers,
Yeah.
But then you're now saying that what is it going to be? What does it really mean for me as an individual, right? So now success for me is freedom, right? The freedom to decide to do what I want to do from an economical standpoint, or be where I want to be at any given point in time in life without someone holding me back, right? For example, the big salary doesn't really guarantee that I can be wherever I want to be. It doesn't guarantee that I could possibly make whatever I want to make. But the freedom I'm talking about now means, I could decide what I feel I want to make in a year from my business, from my investments and all. I could decide where I want to live based on my businesses as well. It gives me choice, the ability to choose what favors me the most. And then beyond that, I feel self-actualization also sometimes could define success. For example, for me, self-actualization could mean, I said I wanted to be an author. Now I'm an author.
Right.
Success could mean that.
You achieved something.
I
that
said I wanted
always
to have a wristwatch brand. Yeah, I founded one. Success could mean that. But in other words, success means different things for different. It's
Different
very
people,
relative.
it's
So, and I want us
relative.
to be careful when we talk about success. You could have a guy, sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Yeah, success looks like that, but does that mean success for the next guy who just wants a townhouse in Sacramento?
Exactly.
So it is relative, I would say.
And yeah, success
And
is
ultimately,
relative.
it is freedom for me.
It's freedom. Success is freedom. And yeah, success truly is freedom for a lot of us because honestly, a free person is the successful person, honestly, because imagine being tied to a company that would never let you go and would not increase your pay.
What can you do?
What can you do? That's your only means of income.
Yeah, you leave. Yeah, you tell
You-
them. Yeah, you tell them you're a big shot
Yeah.
and your productivity is very high. And you're bringing in a lot of profit.
Right?
Yeah. If they don't approve it, what do you do?
What do
You're
you do?
out there searching for another job.
You
right?
see? Yeah.
And also, like I said, the labor market is not automatic. You're a big guy, very productive, doesn't mean the next company is going to take you. In the face of inflation and all this going on with companies cutting their budgets, cutting costs.
Inflation and talk about AI is taking over a lot of people's jobs now.
I wouldn't even want to go there.
Let's not even go there because that's the topic for another day. In the nearest future, I see a lot of people losing jobs. To be honest, with this AI thing taking over, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing, actually.
It's a good thing.
It's actually
It's a-
an enabler if you know how to put it to better use.
Exactly.
It's actually an enabler.
It's a good thing.
It drives more efficiency and it removes wastages, and I feel it should be
Yeah.
a welcome innovation.
Innovation.
Yeah.
I just believe that people need to move as the AI is coming in and then also upgrade themselves.
as AI is coming into the picture, you're also doing something to fit into that space by that time. Not that you're still at the same point where AI is now doing way better than what you would be doing. You won't be needed, to be honest. So I'm hoping that a lot of people are leveraging on this AI thingy now and then going to like improve themselves career wise or whatever way they find themselves, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so Toib, if you could give an immigrant chasing their dreams in a new country one sentence of truth, what would it be? Like, what truth would you tell an immigrant? Because you wrote a book about immigrants, like an immigrant quest. So, what advice can you give to an immigrant chasing their dreams in a new country?
That's a good question. I would say stay hungry.
Stay
Stay
hungry.
hungry. Stay hungry. It's very easy to get complacent. It's very easy to get complacent because when you come into, particularly when you come into the US, for example, I've lived here for over 11 years. It's very easy. For example, even if you get a warehouse job working in the warehouse, I mean, what you get paid and what that could afford you is probably going to be more than what a normal, white collar job would afford you in Nigeria. For example, I remember, when I used to work in the warehouse, what I was making, I think it was a little less than $2,000, but it meant a lot to me. I think it was 1,700 a month.
Wow.
But I felt like a big boy actually, compared to me making, less than 50,000 naira before I left the country. And
Right.
then, I was making 1,700. So with that, I was even able to save more than $500 a month, because I was, sharing an apartment then, So I could have gotten, complacent, and, but it's the reason I say stay hungry. And beyond that, find yourself a mentor. It makes the journey very easy and very smooth. Get yourself a mentor. Whatever you choose to do, find a mentor in that space. I was very fortunate to have found mentors who would actually, held my hands at a very early stage when I came into the US. So, and that really made my journey very easy. Please get mentors.
Yeah, mentorship is very, very, very important in this day and time that we're in. I don't think mentorship was a thing many years ago from now. But now mentorship has become something that, I mean, I'll call it like hand holding these days, because literally someone that you see as a mentor is someone that you would always go to when, and you guys have like, is it someone of like mind, basically. I want to be a doctor. I need to get a mentor that is already a doctor.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I feel like mentorship is very key. And something you said struck me. Stay hungry. Stay hungry. Stay hungry does not necessarily mean like literally stay hungry for food. Stay hungry for the accomplishment of your dreams, your goals. Don't stop. Keep it moving. Keep unfolding. Keep going at it. Just keep doing it. Go for it. And get a mentor. Get a mentor. That's a very great advice. I love it and I reckon with it. So to a fast forward from now, 10 years from now, what would you like or what would you want people to say about the man that you have become or the man that you would become 10 years from now?
I haven't thought about this before. Never thought about it. 10 years from now, I want to be known as someone who has inspired generation. I want to be known as a man who is committed to excellence, because it's one thing I strive to achieve, and I'm hoping that I'm able to fully in the course of my life, fully actualize that. Like you said, from my college days, you always find me wherever I find myself being the best, putting my best with my brand. I give in my best at my job, giving my best, you know, technical consulting that I lead, giving my best. So I want to be a man that's inspired generation and that also is known and notable for, excellence.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that. I love that, Toyev. So let's take you back real quick to Flexaago before we round up. So recently you were in Nigeria and we saw that you made some big moves. You met with the likes of Oba Elegushi, Daddy Freeze, Francis Obozoa,
Don
Vodi,
Jazzy.
Don Jazzy, talk to me about how you were able to make those moves because you and I know it's not easy making those kind of connections in Nigeria. Tell me, how did you make that happen?
I hear people say something. I couldn't have achieved that alone by myself. I mean, of course, I built on the network that I built over the years.
Network.
I leverage on their access to some of these men, you know, and it's also what they say that opportunity meeting preparation.
Opportunity
So
meets
I had the
preparation.
opportunity, right? But I was prepared, right? I was prepared, and I had to also work, So, for example, the Asseco watches. I had actually customized it. I customized some of the pieces for some of these men, even before going to Nigeria, right? I didn't have access to them.
Oh
I didn't
wow.
know how I was going to see
So
them.
you took a risk.
I took a risk. I took a risk that because it's just one thing about me. Just go to work, execute. The doors will open. Just have faith, and that's one thing with faith. I had the faith that I'm going to take this risk. What does it cost me? It won't cost me my life.
Right.
It won't make me go bankrupt. It
Mm-hmm.
was within my power to make. Was it costly? Was it expensive? Yes, it was. Right? Because I made them knowing fully well that I wasn't expecting anything in return.
Right.
The boy was just the price I had to pay for the visibility I needed as a brand, right? And for the new face we're getting into as a brand. Like I said, we're going from a $200 watch to a $500 watch. So who are the right people I needed to use to make this possible? So I made this watches knowing fully well, okay, I'll be going to Nigeria, then, I need to get to see them. Then I had to tap into my existing, network. And it's one thing I want to also advise entrepreneurs around. Please don't burn bridge. Don't burn bridge.
Don't burn
Don't burn
bridges.
bridges. Don't
Do
burn
not
bridges.
burn
So don't burn
bridges.
bridges.
You never know.
Your relationship is very critical and it's
It
very
is.
important as you grow in your business. So I had to leverage on the access some of my network had. They helped me reach out to some of these folks. And I mean that happened, and I'm thankful for the grace, for the opportunity, and for the trust bestowed upon me by by these folks, by my network of contacts, and also from this top 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 guys
Top
in their
guys.
various
Top guys. Because
spaces,
I do
right?
know that it frees to be a wristwatch enthusiast as well as Francis.
Yes.
Both of them, especially Francis. Oh my God. I follow Francis
Yeah.
and I see all the pieces he collects and how he analyzes
Yes.
them.
Yes.
That guy is a genius. Honestly, he's a genius.
Yeah.
And sometimes I watch Daddy Freeze's live and I see how he talks about watches as well. So when I saw you meeting with those people, I'm like, woo, right move, right call. You went to the right people because these are the people that can actually put those watches out there for you because this is something they're very fascinated about. They love it. They would put their money on, and in exchange they would also put you out there, and that was a very good call because I didn't see that coming, to be honest. Obi Kubana, I'm like,
I didn't see that
oh
coming.
my
I didn't
God,
see that
that's
coming
big
either.
moves, big moves. Well done,
I
well
didn't see
done,
that
Toy.
coming either. I'm
Well
grateful.
done.
I'm
And
thankful.
how did it make you feel sitting in the same room with these people? What did it tell you about your journey?
Honestly, I was in the room with them,
Hmm.
but at the same time, I was inspired.
Wow.
I mean,
Blown away.
I was inspired, like knowing where I came from,
Hmm.
Of course, people see me today, I live in the US, but that's not my story.
The background.
That's not my story. That's not my background, I'm this guy from Shomolu,
Hmm.
I'm this guy who sponsored himself through education in Nigeria.
Wow.
I'm this guy whose parent could not afford to have a television or to have a restroom, or to be able to sponsor him through university.
Right.
People see me today, they're probably thinking Nepo, but
Nepo
but,
baby.
but I wish
They don't
I
know the
wish-
behind
I
the
wish- I
scenes.
wish
They don't know the
knew.
backstory.
They don't know the
I
backstory.
know.
I wish they
I
knew
know.
the challenges and but we'll continue to inspire the younger ones. We'll
Right.
continue to mentor them wherever we can, and we'll continue to make them know and understand that impossibility does not exist.
Possibility does not. That's good. I love that, and I'm very happy for you. I'm very happy for the shift, the very big shifts, and I also noticed that you really broke into the Nigerian market.
Yes.
Flexaago billboard is out there. Like, I saw the billboard. I think you posted it one time,
Yes.
and I'm like, Flexaago is in the middle of Lagos.
Yes.
That's beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that. You really have a good head on your shoulder when it comes to things like this, and that's something I always look up to. And guys, Toheeb is one of my mentors, so I don't hide it anywhere. This guy has a good head on his shoulder. He's a very good person to go to for mentorship and all this kind of stuff, and I'm very proud to know you, and I'm proud of how far you've come, to be honest, and I really hope that you keep it going.
From the days we had to shoes.
I
remember?
know, right?
From the days we had to shoes in last.
What's the name of that area where you
Iba.
Igondo, from
Igondo.
Igondo days.
Igondo days.
We don't look like what we've been through.
Igondo days.
We don't look like what we've been through, and we thank God for that. And I'm so happy for you and how far you have come. So yeah, I do have some questions for you, Toy, before
Okay.
I let you go.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Okay.
I do
let's
have
see.
some questions for you. They're trivia questions.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Be
Okay.
ready. You have to answer very fast, very quickly.
Okay.
No cheating, no snooping, no sneaking. Quick response, okay? Ready?
Let's
Set.
have it.
Time ago. What year did fella pass away?
Oh wow. This is very timely with the whole thing about fella and whiskey. Okay, but okay, we're not taking sides here tonight.
No, I'm not going into
We're
that.
not taking sides here
I'm
tonight.
not doing that at all here.
Oh wait, I think I was actually in JSS 1 when fella died. I was in JSS 1. I
Really?
recall going from Obalinde to Palm Grove where I lived then. When it happened, when the news broke.
And what year was this?
That was 1997.
Ooh, okay.
Is that correct?
1997. That is correct.
I was in
That
JSS
is
1. I was
correct.
in JSS 1.
But you took too long, like you were thinking.
No, I wanted
about
to
it.
get the year right because I remember clearly that I was in JSS
He
1.
did get it right. Fela passed away in 1997, and yeah, it is a timely question. Whiskey SC and Fela Nation, or what are they called? Please don't come for us. We love.
We're on
Fela.
both sides.
And we love whiskey.
We're on both sides.
But
And
please.
it's very important to note that whiskey was actually in my faculty.
Really?
We're the same set. He was in sociology. Whiskey was in sociology. I was in political
Was
science.
Whiskey our set?
It was our
he in
set.
really?
Whiskey was our set. Yeah, he was in
I didn't
sociology.
know
I was in
that.
political science. We're in the same faculty actually.
Oh,
So
I
yeah.
didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah.
know Whiskey was our
Yeah,
set.
Ibrahim Balogun.
Oh,
Yeah, I
wow.
remember Whiskey very well.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Okay, so let's go to the next question. What vegetable is the only vegetable that is also classified as a flower? What vegetable is the only vegetable that is also classified as a flower? Tick, 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 tick.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
The
I don't want to waste your
answer-
time.
You don't waste my time. Broccoli.
Broccoli, and I couldn't have
Broccoli.
gotten that right
It's
now.
also classified as the flower.
So
Okay.
you mean I can actually give someone broccoli for Val?
No one said that. Don't go give broccoli to someone for Valentine's. I know you won't do that. Don't be cheap now. Go to the flower shop and get some nice roses.
Let me go
Okay?
get my madam some broccoli.
No, go get some
Let
nice
me get my
nice
madam
flowers,
broccoli.
please. No broccoli, I beg. Give her broccoli to eat. It's healthy.
Okay.
Not broccoli as roses. Okay. All right. So, Toy, the next question: which river forms the border between the United States and Mexico?
Ah, River Benue.
River Benue, wow.
Abi River Niger. Abi River Niger.
No, please don't do that. River Niger, wow.
Okay.
How did we get here?
Let me be serious here. Come on. No.
You got this.
I
Come
can't
on.
form my hand here. I can't form my hand here.
All right, let's
So,
go.
It's Rio Grande.
Rio Grande. Good job, Toyib. Good job. You're getting this. Maybe I'll give you a cookie after this. All right. Okay. All right. So my next question, Toyib: which country invented tea? Tea.
China.
Really? All right. Is actually correct. The Chinese invented tea. Yeah. So that's a good response. Good job. Good job. All right. This is my final question for you. I can bet that you would not know this. Which creature can live for weeks without its head before starving to death?
Honestly, I don't know.
You don't know it? I told you, you won't know it. Anyways, you want the answer? Final answer? I'll tell you the answer. It's a cockroach, and for that reason, a new fear has been unlocked. If I get home tonight, I'll be looking for. I don't have no roach in my house. I lied, but if you do, be rest assured. Even after their head is gone, they can still live and survive for weeks unless they don't find food. All right. So thank you so much, Toyib, for coming here today, all the way from California. We do appreciate your time, and for this reason, we do have a gift for you.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Let's see what you got. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome,
Thank you.
Toyib. I
Thank
hope
you
you
so
love
much.
it.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so
I
much.
wish you all the best.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you for having me.
And we hope you have a safe flight back home.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap on today's conversation with the incredible Toheeb Abolaji Alabi. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're following Unfolding with Ewaji on all social media platforms. You subscribe to our YouTube channel because trust me, the stories ahead are still unfolding and they are getting deeper, richer, and even more inspiring. Until next time, keep growing, keep building, and remember, your story, including mine, is still unfolding.